In our musical comedy theatre tonight, all eyes focus on the tarnished fire of the fireguard. Airy chatter, subdued laughter, ends suddenly. There's a last flourished glance at the programme, a whisper, the rustle, a cough, and the curtain swings up on the opening scene of that famous old musical comedy, The Runaway Girl. The scene, an almond orchard near the convent of Saint-Pierre in Corsica. Early spring, pink and white almond blossoms, and pink and white convent girls basking in the shade and tasting the furtive delight of a sly cigarette.
If girls and boys were asked what joys they found the most entrancing, each girl would name his favorite game, from ducks and drakes to dancing. But girls with me would all agree, although you think I'm joking, with twinkling eye they'd make reply, the best of all is smoking. I have to pretend that I don't, you know. Oh, sly cigarette, oh, fine cigarette, why did you teach me to love you so? When I have to pretend that I don't, you know. How sweet it is to vanish, to dream away our time of play, in smoke our lessons vanish. My head you turned when first I learned, my little friend, to pet you. I coughed and choked each time I smoked, but still I'm glad I met you. Pretend that I don't, you know. Oh, fine cigarette, oh, fine cigarette, why did you teach me to love you so? When I have to pretend that I don't,
The singer is Winifred Gray, an orphan, but reputedly wealthy, and whose guardians, Lord and Lady Caryll, have just supplied with a case of champagne and a picnic hamper. And what goes better with champagne girls than cigarettes? With reckless abandon, she blows the smoke from her mouth, and her companions vie with each other in performing similar feats of daring. Lord and Lady Caryll have arrived in Corsica with their nephew Guy, the young man who has been chosen as a husband for Winifred. But sooner than be bundled into a marriage of convenience, Winifred, with the aid of a kindly old lay brother, Brother Tamarind, decides to run away with a band of strolling musicians, headed by Lionello, a ruffianly braggart who makes the life of a Corsican gypsy seem, oh, so romantic when he sings of my kingdom.
Sea-girt land of my home, when thy valleys I roam, wide world and so firm as my own, free from strife and from care. Show me a kingdom with mine to compare. Wild birds lullaby sing to me, daylight dies. Shine bright eyes in the twinkling sky. Night calls visions to bring to me where I roam. Dreams of love in the stars above. Wild birds lullaby sing to me, daylight dies. Shine bright eyes in the twinkling skies. Night falls, visions to bring to him where he roams. Dreams of love from the stars above, from the stars above.
Had Winifred only known it, Guy Stanley, the young man chosen by her guardians as a husband, has every grace of form and face, and the biggest fan mail of any theatrical star in England, with the possible exception of Cyril Ritchard. He too is piqued at the idea of having to marry a little convent orphan he hasn't even met. But when he does meet her, it's in the streets of Ajaccio, near the terrace of his hotel. How's he to know, poor fellow, that his beautiful, bewitching musician who sings in the street with the strolling players is Winifred Grey? Within 3 minutes of meeting her, his heart is enslaved. He engages in earnest conversation with her. She tells him about this man her guardian wishes her to marry. He tells her about the little convent orphan. Neither suspects the truth, and won't suspect either until just before the end of Act 3. That would make things too easy. But now, to music, they confide to each other that there's no one in the world like you.
Of all the girls I've ever seen, in all the climes I've roved, believe me, dearest, you're the queen, the only one I've loved.
It may be true, though I've been told that's what men always say. In fairy tales of suitors bold who love and ride away. But I think I'd break my heart if we ever had to part, and there's nothing you can ask I wouldn't do.
No, it isn't fair to chaff, for I vow, though you may laugh, that I mean then every word I'd say to you. Oh, I think I'd break my heart if we ever had to part, and there's nothing you can ask I wouldn't do. For I love but you alone, and I want you for my own. 'Cause there's no one in the world like you.
Lord and Lady Caryll are naturally concerned when they're informed by the sisters of the convent that their ward, accompanied by Brother Tamarind, has run away to join a band of minstrels. What was intended to be a holiday cruise of the Mediterranean, a cook's tour of the Mediterranean, looks like ending in disaster. And on top of everything, the courier they've engaged to travel with them speaks only one language, and that's Cockney. This is the irrepressible flipper and ex-jockey, who was at one time sweetheart of the Coodle's maid, Alice. Never were tourists so saddled with such an unlikely guide as Flipper. But Lady Coodle tells him to consider himself engaged, and the party proceeds to follow the man from Cook's.
Ladies and gentlemen, leave it to me. Follow the man from Cook's.
Nobody else is as clever as he. Follow the man from Cook's.
How can I tell if his duties he knows?
Surely his manner intelligence shows.
If you go wrong, sir, I punch the nose. Just follow the man from Cook's.
Follow the man from Cook's. Oh, follow the man from Cook's. The wonderful man from Cook's. And whether your stay be short or long, he'll show you the sights you can't go wrong. Oh, follow the man from Cook's. The wonderful man from Cook's. It's 20 to 1. You've plenty of fun. So follow the man from Cook's. Follow the man from Cook's. The wonderful man from Cook's. And whether your stay is short or long, we'll show you the sights you can't go wrong. Oh, follow the man from Cook's. The wonderful man from Cook's. It's 20 to 1. You've plenty of fun. So follow the man from Cook's.
So Flipper gets the job and everything goes from bad to baddecker. Interest now centers around the personalities of Leonello's band. The lay brother Tamarin takes very kindly to the full, free life of a vagabond, but most of all to the ripe charms of Carmelita, who in spite of her bare feet and bangles is true blue British and hails from Blackfriar Road, where Tammy, as she calls him, hopes to marry and settle down. What a honeymoon we'll have, sighs Tammy. Too bloomin' right, Carmelita affirms. We'll go to Barcelona where the nuts come from.
We've left Barcelona society,
And we can't sing for nuts, la la la-dee.
but we bring you the latest variety
Of black castanet and guitar, hola! Our voices are quite good, those quiveries.
and the tunes are big representative.
But we're dressed in our best Spanish livery. We play castanet and guitar, hola! If it is, though we don't know where it is. La 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 la. In the world, which is just about as far. La 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 la. Hola!
Our program is free from vulgarity.
Hablar español, pura la laity.
We will pass round the hat for your charity.
And tinkle on the guitar, hola! And boy, you may doubt our veracity.
Or question our vocal capacity.
Just look at our grace and vivacity. And hark to the giddy guitar, hola! If it is, though we don't know where it is. La 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 la. In the world, which is just about as far. La 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 la. Hola!
In resuming our story, much skullduggery follows. When Lionello and the musicians learn that the wealthy young Englishman, Guy Stanley, is in love with their young singer Winifred, they tell him that he can marry the girl, but only on payment of a sum of 5,000 francs. They belong to a secret society so sinister as to make the Camorra seem just a glee club in comparison. Eager to marry and completely awed, Guy signs their bogus contract and Flipper signs as guarantor. Brings the money in 10 minutes, snarls Lionello. If you fail, makes a throat-slitting gesture and vanishes with a swish of his feet. Lord and Lady Coodle choose point blank to give their nephew the money. There's only one thing still, and disappear. For the second time in her young life, Winifred Grey becomes a runaway girl, and with Flipper and Guy, they take the next boat to Venice. Dear old Venice. When the curtain goes up on Act 2, we see it all as we've seen it so many times before, the florid backcloth with property gondolas cruising swiftly from Pomp to OP, a view of the canals, and in the foreground those theatrical diehards, the carnival supers, in their motley carnival costumes. The Coodles and their party have come on from Ajaccio for the festivities, and their niece, Dorothy, a fun-loving girl, makes her entrance dressed as a soldier boy, and to fife and kettle drum she sings the rousing theme of Soldiers in the Park.
Where's the music that is hot so sweet? And the trample of the soldiers' feet. Come and listen to the march they play. I can hear them from afar with their gay tarantula, and I know they're coming nearer, for they always pass this way. Turtle, turtle, turtle. Oh, listen to the band. Oh, merrily they play. Oh, don't you think it's grand? Don't you think it's grand? Hear everybody say. Everybody say. Oh, listen to the band. Oh, dance and laugh too hard to the shout of here they come and the banging of the drum. Oh, listen to the soldiers in the park.
The Coodles and their friends throw themselves into the spirit of the carnival in a manner typical of Britishers abroad. But behind the tinsel and glitter, the plaudit pot continues. In the shade of the palace of the Doge, Lionello, who's also made the trip from Ajaccio, seizes Flipper and renews his demands. Flipper promises to seek out his master and return with 5,000 francs. But he's dealing with desperate men. No, no, says Lionello, we do not leave you, we follow. And with much hushing and shushing and cloak throwing, they pursue their quarry, Pietro Pescara. Boccaccio. And their leader, the boldest, baddest brigand in Shaftesbury Avenue, Lionello. Then on come the revellers, the Venetian boys and girls, glass blowers, officers of the Papal Guard, gondola men, fruit sellers, and Italian ladies, making a great deal of noise, which is only quelled by a stern signal from the conductor, and Winifred's entrance for her tribute to beautiful Venice.
The town is dreaming, and nature is sleeping. Across the waters gleaming, like shadows are creeping. I catch where the dim shapes are, gentle splash of all blades swinging, and watching their flight I hearken to the gondoliers softly singing. Shadows are falling, boatmen are calling, soft in its lilting strain.
stage is clear now for a tender little scene between Guy and Winifred, still ignorant of each other's identity, happy in their love. And Winifred naively declares that when Guy guessed that she was in love with him, the boy guessed right.
There once was a little boy who went to school, and he was an aggravating lad. He smashed every window and he broke each rule. His behavior was really very bad. So the master invited him to come one day for a private little interview. And he welcomed Master Jack with his hand behind his back, saying,
Guess what I got for you.
And the boy guessed right
The very first time, very first time, very first time.
He guessed right away it was not a cricket bat.
I wonder how he came to think of that.
The boy got married in a year or so. He found her a treasure of a wife. They lived in a happy little flat, you know. Theirs was a happy little life. And one fine morning people came and said that they got to show him something new. And they let him have a peep at a bundle half asleep. So guess what we've got for you. And the boy guessed right
The very first time, very first time, very first time.
He knew by the sound it was not a pussy cat.
It's funny how he came to think of that.
Now, a commotion off stage. Lord Coodle on the Grand Piazza has seen the strolling players, and with them a young girl in gypsy costume whom he immediately assumes to be the missing ward. The girl is, in fact, that daughter of Blackfriars Road, Carmenita. But when Lord Coodle informs her that she is an heiress, insists that she is the runaway they're seeking, it's all too much for Carmenita, nee Florrie Mullins, and she gasps, "Ooh, fancy, me an heiress, and joining the upper ten. Bit of old luck, eh?" Blimey, but you can't help laughing. Me in society. Look, how I do love society.
Though my family's pedigree isn't all that it ought to be, I've a face that is not so bad, and a figure that drives a mad. All my manners are so refined, dukes and duchesses fill my mind. With the swells I would dine and dance if they'd give me a chance.
High society.
Lots of new dresses I could afford if my papa had been born a lord. To the Derby I like to go with the Harris, the Cratch, you know. So for Epsom I gaily start with a nice little horse and cart. Side by side with the four in hand, I can hear all the talk so grand. If their blood is a brilliant blue, so's their language too.
Love society, real society, real society.
I'd ride on horses with fine long tails if I were power the Prince of Wales.
Only the timely entrance of Guy saves the situation. He tells them that this Carmenita is a fraud, an imposter. Then, when Lord Coodle offers £500 to anyone who will tell them where Winifred Grey is, Winifred herself steps forward and says, Thank you. I think I'll have the money this time, for I am Winifred Grey. Astonishment from the Coodles, joy from Guy Stanley, and so, amid general rejoicing from the revellers, still blowing their squeakers and tossing confetti, to the finale.
Oh, listen to the band, how merrily they play. Oh, hear everybody say. Oh, listen to the band, oh, dancing up to horn, to the shout, here they come, and the banging of the drum. Oh, listen to the soldiers in the park.
When an audience leaves the theatre whistling or humming one of the songs from the show, you know it's been a successful evening, and that is the feeling as our patrons cheerfully make their way towards the foyer of our musical comedy theatre.